Hello again, everybody! Zack Attack is here with my TNA Impact Wrestling review for the night, December 20th, 2012, or as many people call it, maybe the final Impact we'll ever see with this whole end of the world bullshit that's going around. But whether it is the end of the world or not, my thoughts on this Impact tonight, Championship Thursday, by the way, 3 titles on the line. It was an okay one tonight. We saw some okay matches, a love storyline turning upside down and getting a little bit interesting. Plus, we finally found out what the 1-3-13 video is all about, and I kind of predicted it, and I am right. But before we get to that, let's get on to our action. Kicking off with our first title match of the evening, which was for the Television Championship, as Devon of Ace and Eights defended his title against Kurt Angle, which caused hopefully recovering from his low knee injury. Well, unfortunate knee was, of course, targeted throughout the match by Devon. And I mentioned this in my preview during my tagline today. I said that when there's one Ace and Eights member around, you can always guarantee that the other members will not be that far away. And they indeed were. A couple members of Ace and Eights at ringside, and also some members of the TNA roster watching Kurt's back as well. But they were all sent back to the locker room following an intense situation as they were having a little stand-up. Referee threw them both to the back, and Devon indeed had the advantage without Ace and Eights around. But indeed, Angle came flying back and even had the ankle lock attached to Devon. But the referee got distracted by the TNA members who came back out to the ring, and so did the Ace and Eights members. But one Ace and Eights member came from the back, with referee not looking because it was affected with the whole situation with the TNA roster and the Ace and Eights other members there. One member came from the back, attacked Kurt Angle from the back as he was delivering an ankle lock to Devon. Devon was tapping, referee didn't see it. So after the referee got back to the action, Devon had Angle pinned thanks to the distraction. 1, 2, 3. Devon retains the Television Championship thanks to a little help from his friends, known as Aces and Eights. So there you go. A little inadvertent attack from Ace and Eights. Devon retains the title. And Angle, like I'm hearing this, like I said, he has knee injured. And of course, that was most of the target of this match. And we'll see if, I'm hearing Kurt Angle may be off of TV shows for a while. But indeed, we'll see if Angle's injury will last him long from being out of the ring for that. So there you go. On our next match, which is a tag team affair, as RVD teamed up with, yes, the man who beat him last week in a non-title match by hook or crook by putting his leg on the ropes, Kenny King against Joey Ryan, the biggest douchebag in TNA besides Bobby E, and Matt Morgan. And it seemed that RVD and Kenny King were going to put the differences aside to team up for this match, but unfortunately, those differences are not yet settled. Joey Ryan and, of course, Matt Morgan dominated from the early going, especially Matt Morgan in an okay match. Joey Morgan dominated with the big muscle. But indeed, RVD came flying back, trying to help his team get the advantage after Kenny King got his butt whipped for most of the matches when RVD came in, got the fresh hot tag. And as RVD was trying to fight back, Kenny King walked out on his partner. As I mentioned, the differences between RVD and Kenny King aren't exactly settled. So Kenny King watched as RVD got the carbon footprint from Matt Morgan and a 1-2-3 victory for Matt Morgan and Joey Ryan. So I smell a match between RVD and Kenny King down the line, especially after Kenny King walked out on RVD tonight. The differences aren't exactly settled. I said this last week when Kenny King did defeat RVD that Kenny King will probably get another match for the X Division Championship. But after seeing this match tonight with Kenny King walking out on RVD during the tag match, that rematch between RVD and Kenny for the title is more than evident. So there you go. RVD and Kenny King. Differences aren't settled. And unfortunately, they lose to Joey Ryan and Matt Morgan in this tag team affair. Now on to our next segment, which involved the one and only Hulk Hogan. Before we did that, we saw his daughter Brooke, of course, narrow down the choices for the women's title tonight, Knockouts title match for Tara. She had 4 choices: Mickie James, Miss Tessmacher, Velvet, or ODB. ODB was the first to be eliminated. The second to be eliminated was Miss Tessmacher. So Mickey James and Velvet were the last two picks for Brooke. Who would get the shot? We would find out. But until then, we saw her father, Hulk Hogan, come out talk about the Superstar of the Year. Impact Wrestling's having their own little award thing. And the fans are going to vote. I think voting is available right now on ImpactWrestling.com on who is the Wrestler of the Year. I would guess Jeff Hardy would be the pick. Unless they decide to pick a loser like AJ Styles like they did John Cena in WWE Superstar of the Year. John Cena was the loser, yet he was the winner. See if AJ Styles gets a sympathy vote. Speaking of AJ, of course, tell you about how Daniel celebrated his win later on, but of course, voting's on now. The winner of the Superstar of the Year, Impact-wise, will be revealed on 1/3/13, January 3rd, 2013, the first Impact of the year. I'll get to, of course, the video and finally find out who the video is all about. I kind of guessed it, and I was right. But till then, all was talking about, but here comes Devon and Ace and Eights. They crashed the party, saying that 2012 was the year of Ace and Eights founding in 2013, if we make it towards that after this whole Mayan shit. Said indeed that 2013 is going to be also the year of Ace and Eights when they're all revealed. And indeed take over TNA inch by inch. And they even cornered Hulk Hogan until Bully Ray came to the rescue, charging him outside of the ring. But of course, Hulk Hogan's differences with Bully Ray aren't exactly settled. And by the end of the evening, Hogan and Bully Ray's differences are indeed not settled after we saw what happened to end Impact tonight. So, I know there's something going on. Anyway, I'll get to why I say that in a moment. But until then, we saw a video, another video tonight promoting 1/3/13. Besides the reveal of the Impact Superstar of the Year, it will be, and I predicted this, and I am right, unfortunately. 1/3/13 will be the return of Sting. I think everyone kind of got the pick. It was all about like vengeance upon you, about attacking people who have done them wrong, and of course it was referring to Sting coming back from his attacks from Ace and Eights, and indeed, yes, Sting will return to Impact on January 3rd, 2013. Of course, basically to beat the shit out of Ace and Eights, vengeance, revenge, whatever you want to call it, for the attacks on him. So there you go. Sting will return on 1/3/13. There are the next segments involved, of course, Christopher Daniels and Kazarian. Of course, they had a little celebration about AJ Styles. Beating AJ Styles, Daniels did, at Final Resolution. We saw what happened last week on Impact with AJ Styles apparently walking out of TNA saying that he's tired of doing the white thing. He wants to do his own thing. He ain't going to take it anymore. He's hate being the good guy. We'll see. Maybe AJ will return eventually as a bad guy or whatever. But till then, anyway, Daniels had a little visitor. Santa Claus was brought in. This Santa Claus guy in a costume came in and delivered these silly one-liners. As Daniels saying, my Christmas wish is to give AJ Styles kids anything they want since AJ can't afford it. Because he's broke, because he's a loser. Blah, 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 blah. As his jokery went on, here comes James Storm, the guy who did cause AJ Styles the opportunity to fight for a championship match till Bound for Glory 2013. That's indeed one of the reasons why AJ's been going down his downward spiral. Anyway, James Storm came out saying he doesn't care about them worrying about AJ Styles, but better not ruin Christmas for the children. And of course, Storm came out, destroying the whole set, throwing the Christmas tree, and of course, making fun of Santa, the guy in the Santa suit, and super kicking Santa to hell. While still in his chair, while grabbing Santa's sack, or his cat's got the biggest sack in the world, as he would call it. Anyway, James grabbed a sack of toys and goodies and threw them out to the crowd, being in the giving Christmas spirit. Cass thought he wasn't a giving spirit, but he got an ass whooping, kind of. He got his party ruined. That's all he got for Christmas. They're getting none for Christmas. Bad influence. Indeed, that's the perfect name for a bad influence. But anyway, there you go. The party for Daniels crashed by James Storm. Not a Scrooge, not a Grinch like Cass and Daniels, but indeed spread some Christmas cheer and some spirits, if you know what I mean. Spirits means beer. James had this funny thing about asking what he wants for Christmas and blah, 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 blah. So there you go. With that little segment with Cass and Daniels, his party crashed by James Storm as well. Match between them three eventually, maybe next week or whatever. So there you go. I know they had a tag match to get against each other, but I say James will probably wrestle Kaz and or Daniels next week on Impact or on 1-3-13. But on to our Knockouts title match, the third title match of the second championship match of Championship Thursday. Of course, Brooke Hogan had to pick between one of four potential challengers. She was down to two after eliminating ODB and Miss Tessmacher, Velvet Sky, and Mickie James. She picked Mickie to get the shot against Tara because Velvet's only been back for about a week. She's only had one match back. Of course, they both came back almost around the same time. Mickie returning this past November, winning the Battle Royal to get the title shot against Tara at Final Resolution. And Miss Velvet needs to prove a lot more than just that one match. I was figuring she was going to get the shot. Wasn't going to get the shot tonight because she's only been back for 1 week, wrestling-wise. But I know Velvet will get a shot eventually. But till then, we had the first of our two Final Resolution rematches, which was Mickie James against Tara. During that pay-per-view match, Jesse got a little bit too involved, helping Tara win. That's what happened yet again tonight. Throughout the match, Jesse kept sticking his nose in, tripping Mickie James early on. And Tara was indeed dominant most of the matchup, especially with the little eventual help from Jesse. But Mickie James made the comeback in his little decent matchup. As Mickie James was firing on all cylinders, ready to clinch the Knockouts Championship. Jesse tried to stick his nose in again by pulling the referee out as Mickie had a pinning combination there towards the end. And Mickie eventually jumped on top of Jesse from the top rope, kneeling him down for one moment while slumping him too. But eventually, Mickie got once again tripped up by Jesse. And after that distraction from Jesse, Tara got Mickie back in, nailing her with a little flapjack move, bending her knee a bit, and a 1-2-3 victory. Once again, with help from Jesse, her boy toy, Tara retains the Knockouts Championship. And of course, Velvet Sky is still looking in the shadows. And of course, Velvet will get her shot eventually. But tonight wasn't her night, it was Mickie's night. But unfortunately, it wasn't Mickie's night to become champion before Christmas. As Tara, like I mentioned, retained the title with a little help from her boy toy Jesse. Mr. Spectacular, like to call himself, after getting his butt whipped by Billy Ray last week. Anyway, on to our next match. Main event of the evening. Third and final Championship Thursday title match. It was for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Our second back-to-back Final Resolution rematch. Actually, it wasn't a Final Resolution rematch. It was a Turning Point rematch. We had a Final Resolution rematch between Mickie and Tara, but we had a Turning Point rematch between Jeff Hardy and Austin Aries. Aries pushing everyone's buttons and wanting to get another shot. And Hardy, of course, challenged him last week. Challenge accepted. Here we go. In the early going is very decent, exciting matchup. Hardy had the advantage early on. But once Austin Aries uses cheap shots to get the advantage, Austin Aries indeed took the advantage for the later half of the matchup. Austin dominated over Hardy. It looked like Mr. Aries was going to regain the championship. But indeed, after a few minutes of Austin dominating, Jeff Hardy came flying back, nailing a big splash, and almost had a few winning pin win predicaments. But indeed, near towards the end, Hardy was going for a big splash on Mr. Aries, but the referee got in the way, and both Aries and the referee got knocked down. And actually, Hardy got knocked down a little bit too in that equation, but as the referee was down, Austin Aries took the opportunity with referee out, nailed the brain buster on Hardy, but no referee. So Austin Aries called from the back for another referee to come out. The other referee came out, and he was counting until that referee was pulled out by Bobby Roode, of course, the man that Austin Aries inadvertently screwed at Final Resolution. Of course, we saw what happened with Austin Aries paying more than Roode to pay off Aces and Eights. Basically, Roode did not come to help Jeff Hardy. That's a fact. That Roode is not a bad guy. I mean, not a good guy. Roode's not turning face. But he's just there just to fuck up with Austin Aries after Aries screwed him. It was Roode's turn to screw Aries. Referee was counting, but Wood pulled out the referee. 1, 2, and he hesitated to 3. Like you mentioned, he's the referee because Austin Aries didn't see the referee get pulled out. Once Austin saw what was happening, he turned around and got flipped the bird by Bobby Roode, which was blood. Bullshit. Anyway, after that, Austin Aries tried to punch Roode, but Roode nailed him with a double arm spine buster. As Roode left and smiled as he watched Austin Aries get a twist of fate and a swanton bomb and a 1-2-3 from Jeff Hardy. As Hardy retained the TNA World Championship and Aries got screwed by Roode, the same way Roode got screwed by Aries. I smell a match between Aries and Roode down the line as both men screwed each other out of a title opportunity. So that's all I gotta say. Anyway, we'll probably see Roode and Aries either at Genesis or on Impact, but we'll see eventually how that feud between these two develop. Especially after Roode found out that Aries was the guy that paid off Ace and H more than he did. So imagine Roode got his slate of revenge tonight, but I know Aries wants revenge on Roode now. And we end Impact with Hulk Hogan about to leave the Impact Zone, talking about the whole Ace and H thing, and of course not being too distracted with this whole Brooke Hogan Billy Ray situation. That was until he saw Brooke and Billy Ray having a little makeout session by Brooke's call. Something's going on. I know that something's going on. Anyway, that's why I was singing that Billy Ray got it on. Get a little freaky with Brooke as they made out by the side of a car. Hulk Hogan left in disgust. Of course, I mentioned early on that despite Billy Ray coming out to save Hogan from a possible attack from Ace and Eights, Hogan still didn't trust Billy Ray. Well, Hogan probably still doesn't trust Billy Ray, especially after what he saw tonight with Billy Ray getting his lips, playing a little tonsil hockey on his daughter Brooke. So I know Hogan will be fuming mad on next week's Impact if we make it to next week's Impact. If the world doesn't end tomorrow, which I know it won't. That's my opinion, it won't end. So there we go. We're not going to die tomorrow. But if we do, that is it for my TNA Impact review for tonight. Probably the final Impact review ever, but I don't think so. For a long shot. So there you go. Roode screws Aries. And Billy Ray gets it on with Brooke. And Ace and Eights as someone they want to pay off. I think Ace and Eights did some as well after they saw a Sting video about someone who may be able to help Ace and Eights out with Sting. And a person will have a sit down with Ace and Eights sometime next week. So we'll see what happens next week with that scenario. And of course, Hogan being mad about Billy Ray and Brooke now getting it on. That is it, like I said, for my Impact Wrestling review. Hope to see you soon if we don't die tomorrow. And I know we won't. With that in mind, you've all been attacked by the review from Zach. Thank you very much. See you later. Hopefully, yeah. Ciao, 21, ciao.